died. You should have died. You should have been hit by shrapnel.
It's been my dream for years now to be able to attain a life of adventure and travel and stuff.
The country I'm currently in is technically the 8th most dangerous country in the world, but the locals consider it so safe that the currency exchange here happens on the street.
I thought we made it pretty obvious in all our previous videos. We're just two average, straight friends.
Kelly, I mean, do you like her enough to pursue her?
I scoured YouTube to find the best videos on the platform and figured out what made the intros so engaging and actually matter. And it's not what you'd expect. I deliberately chose videos that did not feed into the MrBeastification of YouTube. So these are actual concepts that you can use to improve your storytelling and create videos that make a genuine impact from the get-go. Within my analysis, there were 3 major points that I noted that can instantly make your video matter to the viewer. So if you can learn to nail all 3, you'll stand out well above the crowd. And the third point is my favorite, so make sure to stick around for that. The first point that I noted within my analysis was the use of antithetical situations. What is an antithetical situation? Well, let's see if you can first spot it.
The country I'm currently in is technically the 8th most dangerous country in the world, but the locals consider it so safe that the currency exchange here happens on the street.
You know what bothers me? For some reason, all our fans seem to think that we're gay. Now, I thought we made it pretty obvious in all our previous videos. We're just two average, straight friends.
The key is the contrast between what you see on screen and what you can hear through either the voiceover or the music. And as you could observe, it can also be applied to both comedy and journalistic style videos. If we go back to Yes Theory's video, we see Thomas walking around relaxed in this mysterious village, yet seemingly peaceful, while simultaneously saying that he's technically in the 8th most dangerous country in the world? This contradiction creates questions in the audience's mind like, hold on, where is he? What is the 8th most dangerous country in the world? How did he even get there? And why would he choose to go? Often in this industry, gurus will tell you that you need fast-paced, action-filled intros to keep the audience engaged. But that means nothing if there is no item in the intro that creates a deep desire within the audience to continue watching in the first place. So you need to create a question in the audience's mind or a storyline that now needs to be resolved. So in contrast of much of the YouTube space at the moment, you don't need fast cuts or action music. You just need to create an antithetical situation that requires watching till the end of the video to resolve. Additionally, the use of the word technically also raises questions about the differences between on paper and reality. What loophole or misconception currently exists that has allowed this video to take place? There's a reason this word has been used in so many other videos. Tangentially, from a comedy angle, we have Boy Boy's video, where they have used the antithetical situation to establish the comedic and don't take us too seriously preface, even if the video is discussing heavy topics. Not gonna lie, it feels weird to be breaking down humor, considering I'm as far from a stand-up comedian as it gets, but the verbal visual contrast that they have highlighted
For some reason, all our fans seem to think that we're gay.
creates a comedic element that helps relax the audience, lower their guard, while simultaneously establishing a B story that you kind of want resolved, even if it is a little absurd. So while you're there digesting the journalistic side of the video, you also low-key want to know the outcome of this B story. Also, additionally to that, the Australian accent probably also really helps to disarm the viewer as well. So what does this mean if you're creating your own content? Well, utilize an antithetical situation at the start of your video, a contrast between the visual and auditory components that get the audience asking questions they now want answered or storylines they now want resolved. Bonus observation number 1. Within the videos that I selected, there was no consistency between the amount of B-roll shots and the speed of cuts, as it was all dependent on the video that was being told and what was needed to tell it. The second point I noted was to open the video with a different or intriguing image. With the current, or really any generation of YouTube, we become accustomed to seeing the opening image that we see the vast majority of the time, and nowadays that tends to look like this.
What is up, gamers?
So if you open your video the same way, it's expected and doesn't capture your viewer's attention as special in any way. Much like tourists that come to your hometown and are fascinated with everything that they see. You just walk past every single day completely unfazed. Hence, the same generic opening image just means that your video slides right back into the memory bank of someone alongside every other video on the platform. Consequently, if you can open the video in an intriguing way, potentially subvert expectations, you can entice the viewer to keep watching as it's much more memorable and they're excited to see what's next. Ryan Trahan surviving 20 hours straight is probably the most confronting of openings.
I am a YouTuber. YouTubers are known for doing some of the craziest survival challenges of all time. Well, today, I'm taking it up a notch. The biggest I survived challenge this platform has ever seen. That's right. I survived 24 hours. Straight.
That opening frame absolutely captures your attention, if not drives fear into the depths of your heart. From the outset, you know that this isn't going to be an ordinary talking head nor vlog. This is going to be a wild ride, and the rest of the introduction follows suit. Additionally, Natalie Lynn in her I spent my life savings to travel in a van video had an opening that was phenomenally unique and wasn't something that you expect to see on YouTube. Rather, it's something that you expect to see while going to your local cinema and watching a classic indie film.
So recently I've realized I've lived in a house basically my entire life, which means more than 80% of my life has been spent in the exact same spot.
No flashy cuts or pounding music, just a good old composition, eh? When I first saw the intro to a video, I just thought it was gonna be like a tripod outside a ground floor window, and then it started to pull back and it was like, hold on, wait a minute, that's a drone! From the outset, you know this is gonna be a different kind of video, one that doesn't want to rush into things, just take its time, relax, breathe, and introduce you to some beautiful shots and narratives along the way. It is a welcomed relief from the bombardment of overwhelming stimuli you experience in your daily life. Kitten break. Bonus observation number 2. There is no ideal length for an intro. It can be 3 seconds or it can be 3 minutes. It all depends on the video that is being told and what is needed to tell it. But sometimes the best intros are the ones where you can't tell when the intro has ended and when the body of the video has begun, so keep that in mind. The third and my personal favourite point I observed was to open with a confession.
To me, great comedy is the art of confession. I'm gonna learn something new about Colin or Samir.
Yeah.
Tell me something I didn't know about you. And it's generally involves some form of risk.
This doesn't mean that you have to reveal your life's darkest secrets. Rather, the video just opens with a moment of intimacy, where the protagonist reveals or documents something personal that has happened or is happening to them. With the previous example, Natalie confesses her childhood dream of wanting to travel the country.
It feels kind of limiting to spend my entire life in the same place when there's so much more to go see and do outside the borders of my hometown.
But if we go even further, to a more vulnerable moment, don't worry, we'll end on a high here, but Phillip Vu's We Survived an Explosion in Ukraine. The immediate opening uses the first point we analysed of antithetical situations, where the voiceover clearly contradicts the visuals presented before us.
Russia has denied targeting civilians.
You could have died. You should have died.
Then the video flows into an extremely vulnerable moment for Phillip, as you can see him opening up on the phone to his friend about his PTSD-inducing experience that almost left him dead.
You could have died. You should have died. You should have been hit by shrapnel and been on the ground like the man that you were able to film.
The fear and shock that you hear in his friend's voice is not something that you hear in your day-to-day life and is hence an attention grabber. What happened? Is he okay? What could have possibly occurred that induced that reaction from his friend? We now have questions that we want answered, we've seen the end results, and now we want to know the journey that has led him to this point. It is not played up to the camera or trying to gain sympathy, rather is a true documentation of his experience. Like, imagine how differently the video would have sounded if it came with a MrBeast overtone. Like, today we got PTSD in an active war zone, and here's how we did it. Like, no, just no. You need something that truly came from the heart, because it is a true experience he had, and there's no embellishing to that. It is just what has happened to him and how is he going through that. In a way, having Phillip's friend on the phone discussing the incident legitimizes what has happened and removes the appearance of self-indulged sympathy. So often now on YouTube, people try and establish these meaningless stakes just to get people to watch. But when there are real stakes, when life hits and shit gets real, we notice. In a way, it puts us into a fight or flight. And this is what Phillip has so beautifully and traumatically been able to portray within this video. Following that, and in severe contrast, let's talk about love, which I'm totally an expert. Kelly Wakasa's video, titled "Telling My Roommate I Have a Crush on Her," is a masterpiece of this vulnerable storytelling. And let me know if you would like a full breakdown on this video, because it is honestly so beautifully perfect. The first 13 seconds are the epitome of confession, as he reveals to his grandparents that he would like to confess his feelings to his roommates, which is so adorable.
Kelly.
Hello.
So what's up? What's happening? Anything new that you have to tell us?
Well, I want to tell my roommate Ashley that, like, I like her.
Well, you know what? I got the feeling that the two of you like each other because of your skateboard scenes. You know, where you're skateboarding together?
Yeah.
This intimate moment that Kelly shares with his grandparents is not something that we tend to see in modern YouTube content. And the emotions and feelings that he's expressing is something that we can all relate with. He doesn't have to establish any fake stakes. They're already embedded within the nature of his goal.
My concern was, you know, we're roommates. I just hear a lot of outside noise that's like, you shouldn't be doing this. You guys are roommates, like, this is stupid. It does definitely play with me a little bit.
You know, it's unfair to both of you if you're going to try to put a resistance to your feelings.
What if she doesn't reciprocate? What if this ruins their friendship, and in particular the roommate dynamic? So now you know what the goal of the video is. You deeply empathize with the main character trying to achieve that goal, and are desperate to see, does he succeed? What is the final outcome? Is their friendship ruined, or is it all happily ever after? You feel his excitement and anxiety when he's wanting to tell her and are desperately anticipating the moment for it to occur. You now care about the character and his journey, all within the span of a 13-second intro. It is creators like Kelly Wakasa and the aforementioned that are taking YouTube content to the next level, away from the MrBeastification of YouTube and into the new wave, telling stories that matter in a way that you genuinely care. Earlier, I made a similar breakdown about what makes people stand out on TikTok in a meaningful way. So if you're interested, feel free to click that right here.